Hi, so we are going to be moving on to our third stage of the web design and development course, and that is the implementation. Now, the implementation is broken down into three separate areas. One of them is for coding in HTML. Secondly, we have cascading style sheets, which sets up the designs and the color schemes. And then lastly, we've got your JavaScript, which adds your interactivity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through this first sort of presentation here. This is just part one of the HTML coding, just to show you the basics and how to actually set up your web page. Now you have access to this presentation, so I'm not going to dwell too long on this information. You can go and read that through yourself. The important thing I want to point out here, when you're creating a HTML document, HTML code, we use things called tags. Now, these tags signal to the browser that it needs to format something in a particular way. So depending on what the actual tag is, the browser then knows, right, okay, this is part of the head, or this is part of the body, this is a paragraph, this is a title, and so on, okay? Our tags are written in angled brackets, like you can see here. So they use a less than symbol and a greater than symbol. And then you put the information in between them, okay? So this one is an opening tag, this one is a closing tag, and the closing tag just uses forward slash in front of the head part there, okay? You'll see a bit more, you'll understand a bit more as we go on. Sometimes our tags that we put in, we can add in extra attributes that put a condition on it. So for example, here within our body tag, we've actually changed the color of our background in here as well. Again, this is something we'll look at later. So this is the structure of our first HTML page that we're going to create. You don't need any specialized software for creating websites, okay, using HTML coding. We just use a software called Notepad. So if you go down to the bottom of your screen and type in here Notepad, okay, you'll see you can use this one here. This is your very, very basic plain one, or some computers have Notepad++, which I prefer because it gives you some different colors as well. So your tags and things come up in different colors. And this is it when it opens up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in just what I've got on this screen here, and I'll explain to you what each of them is doing as we're going, okay? So we'll start with our less than symbol. This doc type HTML actually means that we are using the version of HTML. It's version 5, which is our latest version that we're using. So we put that at the very, very start of the document so that the browser knows it's version 5. There's been some changes between version 4 and version 5. So for example, version 5 allows you to insert videos and audios directly without actually having to have an add-on. Now, every other page, HTML page that you must have an opening HTML tag, and then further down, we put in our closing HTML. Everything that we put into your HTML page has to go within these two tags, okay? So when we're creating our HTML page, it's split up a bit like a body. Every page has one head and one body, okay? And I'm going to tell you exactly what's within each of these different areas. So in the head tag here, it's not actually seen on the actual screen itself, okay? Anything that you put in here is usually for providing the browser with information. Like if you were using a search engine, for example, you can put in things called meta tags, and the search engine will look for these to find websites that are, maybe about, I don't know, puppies or surfing or whatever, okay? So you can put in these meta tags that tell the search engines what your website's about. We're also in here put in, as you can see here, we've got title, okay? And in this case, they've called it index. I'm just going to put in example homepage, because we're going to be creating a wee sort of example homepage in here. And then I'm going to close the title tag as well. Now this title tag, when it actually appears on your website, when you run it with a browser, this title tag here will come up in the blue title bar at the very top. Okay, so it's not actually seen on the website itself, but it's up in the title area at the top. Other thing that we add into the head tag is our links to our style sheets and link to our JavaScript sheets as well. But again, we'll come on to that later on. Okay, so we've got our head area done. I'm now going to add in my body tags, okay? And as you can see, when I'm adding in my tags, I put in the opening one and the closing one. This is purely so I don't forget to add it in. And it's quite a good habit to get into that. If you have tags that require closing ones, and most of them do, if you type them in at the same time and then put your information in between. Now, everything that goes into the body area is what is shown on your actual website. Okay, so we're going to go through some of the different bits and pieces in here as well. So H1 is used for putting headings in. Okay, so we have various different levels of heading importance. There's 6 different headings that you can have. So you can have H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. And when we set it up, if we don't change like your styles and things, you'll see that when you actually run the website, they come in different sizes. So this one here, I'm just going to put in this as my first heading. Now I know this isn't actually on that sheet here, but I'm going to show you if I put in like an H3. I'll just say this is a sub-level heading, something like that. I'll put it in like that, okay? And so that'll give your headings. Now, headings are actually really good for when, again, you've got search engines that are using them. They'll look for your titles. So your main page title, we usually use the H1 heading. H2 are maybe used for your subtitles throughout the page. And you can have all numerous H1s or H2s or H3s in your page as well, okay? You'll see that as we go on and create our websites and start to develop it, you'll see that appearing more often. The next one down we've got is a paragraph, okay, so it's just a P. And again, it has a closing title as well, so a closing tag, sorry. So anything that we're going to put into here, we can add in there. So I'm just going to put in, this is a generic, obviously anytime we're programming, everybody likes to put in hello world. I'll just say this is my first paragraph. You can have as many paragraphs within your body area as you want. Every time you put in a new paragraph, it will put in like a carriage return. So it's like pressing enter on your keyboard when you're keying in. It puts like a gap in between and below it, okay? And I'm just going to write in this is my second paragraph, just so that you can see this when I actually run the page. Okay, I'll close that one there. So that's kind of everything that we've got on the screen at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this as a web page. Okay, now this is the important part, and you have to make sure that you do this correctly. First of all, pick where you're saving it to. Now, I'm just going to save it into my hard drive that I'm working with just now. If you're using OneDrive, make sure you save it directly into your OneDrive area. I suggest you create a folder beforehand so that you have everything all ready and set up. I've got a sample website set up here, and then this is my example website for you guys. Okay, and I'm just going to put in here example homepage. Now, this is the important part. When you're creating your website, I want you to put in .html after you've put in your file name, okay? And then save as type all types. Now, if you click on there, you'll see there is actually, if we scroll down, there is an HTML option in here. But sometimes this does not allow it to save as an HTML page, okay? So it's much easier if you just do this, put in your .html, save it as all types, and press save, okay? I'm now going to go to that folder in my Banff Academy site. If I come in here, into my web design, into my sample websites, this is where you've got to have a good memory and find it. And you'll see that that's actually saved as a Google Chrome site, okay? It's an HTML document. So if I click on that to open it, you will see now it's appeared as my first website, okay? And you can see there's the difference between the H1s and the H3s. These are your paragraphs. And up the top in here, there is my titles, okay? So that's where my title page is actually shown in that title bar. Okay, next week we'll go on and we'll have a look at a little bit, adding in some other bits and pieces, looking at adding styles and stuff, okay? What I would like you to do is obviously read through this document that we've got here. It tells you a little bit about good practice, difference between the head and the body. And then what we're going to be doing for the task for this week, we're going to be setting up and creating a website about something that you're interested in, okay? So it could be a favourite musician or band, favourite film, TV programme, favourite book or author, or a favourite game, okay? So I want you to adapt that file that you created in here, okay? And I want you to start adding in some information for yourself. Hope that makes sense. If there's any worries, give me a shout, okay?